This is a subgingival dental plaque sample, highly organized, advanced biofilm. You can see tons of movement in the slide, very, very organized. Over on the 9 o'clock position, let's see, I'll highlight this with the red arrow. You'll see an amoeba kind of pushing its way through the biofilm. Amoebas definitely do not belong in the oral cavity. They are indicative of a very advanced disease state. And you see this wave-like movement in some of these areas of the slide, and we're going to go to a higher power in just a minute. But in this frame, you can see 3 different amoebas in the same frame, and you can tell they're amoebas if you just look how they're moving through the plaque sample. So increasing magnification from 400 to 1000 power. Again, we get a little close-up view of the amoeba who's here, and just to the right of that you have this organized mass of bacteria that are beating in a wave-like formation, and that gets nutrients to where they need to go, and it gets toxins out, waste products out. Same slide, we're looking at 2 trichimonads. It looks like they're beating their flagella and trying to move, but they can't. They're kind of pressed together here in the plaque sample, and they're really not going anywhere. They almost look like an irregular beating heart. Again, here's a close-up view of that synchronized beating of the bacteria, and you can see a couple of PMN white blood cells in there. They're not kind of overwhelmed, of course, by the sheer number of bacteria that are here. I tweaked my microscope a little bit. Don't tell Bill Landers at Orotech I did that. I was instructed not to play with my settings too much, but like any good geek, I just couldn't listen. Anyway, you get a little better contrast in what's going on, and this amoeba that's on the right side of the screen, you can actually see some detail in the food vacuoles that it has inside the amoeba. And a little bit later on, I'm going to show you a spirochete that it got trapped into one of these amoeba, which is really, really interesting, because we tend to think of them on the same team, causing disease, and one does not ingest the other. But I'll show that to you in a few minutes. You know, it's estimated that there are 600 to 700 different types of bacteria that are possibly living in the mouth at any one time. In this particular plaque sample, to say that we have a few hundred different types, I think might be an understatement. The technology has not gotten to the point where we can sequence all of these and know exactly what's in the mouth, although there are a couple of companies that do DNA sampling, and we can get a pretty good grasp on some of the most pathogenic bacteria. So here's the exciting part. This food vacuole that I'm highlighting inside this amoeba, keep your eyes on that food vacuole as the amoeba moves from the right to the left. You'll see in there squiggling around a spirochete. A lot of times our same food vacuole, as it moves around, you're starting to see the spirochete wiggle around, and I think what occurred is this amoeba is absolutely full of dead PMN cells That's what these Entamoeba gingivalis like to eat. And I think the spirochete was probably inside one of the white blood cells that got engulfed by the amoeba. And you see him kind of, well, he's trapped. I would love to be able to follow this guy and see if he really makes it, because the amoeba, once something's inside the amoeba, it really has a way of just dissolving it and excreting the toxins from it. So I'll keep the slide on this amoeba for a little bit. You can tell that it's not super in position, that the spirochete is like on top or underneath the amoeba, because it stays in that same vacuole space throughout. Still moving around inside the vacuole. I'm going to highlight it again with a red arrow in case you lost track of where he's at. In this view, it looks like there might even be two spirochetes in that food vacuole. Anyway, this is one of my favorite slides. There's no after or treatment on this patient. She elected not to do any treatment at all, which is quite astounding actually once you see this. But in this view, you've got two amoeba that are passing each other, and it's mesmerizing a little bit. They kind of look like lava lamps from the 80s. Yeah, and have a couple of PMNs that look like they're trying to catch up and wage war. Thank you for watching.